This June 5th, will you remember those who sacrificed so you can have your banana? Will you remember those that stood up and those that didn't? This June 5th. Remember the horrors. Remember what happened. God bless and never forget. Hello, everyone out there in the void. I'm Zach. This is the Shaken Fist, and it's Tuesday, and it should be no surprise. I'm joined by one, the only. He needs no introduction, but I'm doing it anyway. It's Jimmy Tux TV, everybody. How y'all doing? Hello, Jimmy. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well.
It's good. It's what we like to see. Having a good time on Tuesday with all the dick and fact jokes. Only highbrow here. We're highbrow boys. You know what I mean? I'm a classy broad, and I like to keep it highbrow. I picked this up and I didn't even put it on. So we get to go through more magical adventures through Braxton Hunter's book. And do you know what? Hello, Kaiju sir. And we're one step closer to the facts. So you getting excited, Jimmy, that we're getting closer to the facts.
I am so excited. I can't wait for today's R lesson.
It's what could R possibly be? Because last time, you would think, ontological argument, wouldn't you? You'd think ontological argument, and he goes, no, it means order.
Order.
So, Mr. BS before, he was guessing. I can't put it up because it was before the stream started. But he was guessing that it was, I can't remember now. I can't.
Wow.
I haven't got the stream up because I've got Evemux up instead. He said something, and I went, But he gave us an answer that I'm trying to quickly look up, but my internet's being very slow.
I think my internet's okay today. My internet was a little suspect last week, if I remember correctly.
Well,
we had a lot of storms came through the Chicagoland area, and
there was tornadoes, there was death, there was murder, there was mayhem.
Yeah,
we didn't know what to do.
Something like that.
I was still confused. I was panicked. There we go. Oh, pause the thing. There we go. And it doesn't even say. Oh, come on. And it doesn't go back to before it started. Oh, well. Mr. BS's Lewis's guess is gone. I tried. Poof. Yeah. It reminds me of the face ripper chimpanzee. Like, which one? There's been a few face ripper chimpanzees.
Oh, yeah.
So you've obviously read this chapter coming up. So before you read it, what did you think that R was going to stand for?
I didn't even I didn't presuppose what R would stand for. I know what it stands for now, but I didn't presuppose what it stands for. I haven't read ahead to what E stands for yet. So do you want me to hold off on guessing?
E, that? Yeah, I've not guessed E. I've not read forward either, so it could be anything.
Mm-hmm. I say we smuggle evolution in with the E.
Oh yeah. Well, that's all we do is we smuggle in the evolution everywhere we go. It's just a little evolution here, a little evolution there. It's like Parmesan. Oh yeah, sorry, Mr. BS put it in the chat again. He went with watchmaker.
Oh, no.
Interesting choice. It's an interesting choice. I see the logic, but today the logic was false.
Is this like Scooby-Doo pronouncements? Wrong maker. Wrong.
Rudro, there's more pages to go through. I need some Scooby snacks. Pass me my bum.
I have a Yingling myself. I
have Monster Energy drink because the only thing I can drink at the minute is caffeine.
I just had a caffeine-free tea right before we got on.
I'm allergic to tea. That's how American I am.
Ooh, wow.
That's what I tell all the British people over here. They go, do you want a brew? And I go, yeah, but it has to be coffee, and you cannot mix the spoons because I will start vomiting
Mm.
horrifically. That's how American I am. I vomit out
Wow.
tea because I stand with the Boston Tea Party. I shouldn't have to pay tax on silver spoons, nor for tea.
This this will help in the long run. This will help.
Right. So, chit chat to cheat. We'll do that quickly today because we've got a little less time. We've only got an hour
Yeah.
and a half this time because, life gets in the way. So, bam. That one, no.
All right.
Hi, everyone. We go. That's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one. All right. I'm going to start. Chapter 3 R. The universe has rules.
Rules!
Rules. You know what? I don't remember him capitalizing rules all the time, though.
He does once, though, at least.
It does once. Okay.
He does once, and then he immediately, italicizes it. So it's like, rules! And rules. Rules! And rules. It's
All right.
So
Universe has rules.
As customary, we got to start. Why is it? I got to ask you a more fundamental question. Why is it every time a Christian writes a book, they got to start every chapter with a fucking Bible verse?
I read a car book one time that started off with a chapter and verse. I can't remember what it was, but there is the Ogmandino's Greatest Salesman book or something like that. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's basically a story about Saul/Paul becoming the anti-salesman type of story that he went from being the biggest attractor to the biggest salesman of the basically the whole world.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've read that book. My guess is if I had to guess, then that book is the one that has several car selling advices, starting with chapter and verse.
It's just like it's fucking. I know. It's part of the reason I don't like philosophy. I have a little thing at the time. I had a little rant about philosophy I want to start with, but to be honest. It's part of the reason I don't like them, and I don't like this book, and I don't like shit like this and most of these Christian arguments, because all philosophy is just finding little argumentative ways to ruin another person's position instead of actually being correct.
Yes.
People people take concepts and ideas and then just throw all their language at it until it's not what it is anymore, and then they've torn it into 15 schools of thought. So then it's all these different things, and it can't be all of them put together. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, go on.
So the syllogisms that he uses, if I remember correctly, he uses a couple of syllogisms. William Lane Craig's syllogism specifically.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of syllogisms. I'm more of a fan of the Aristotelian anthemon. Where
I don't know what that is.
It's the meme. It's basically the modern meme.
All right,
but a precursor to the modern day meme, where you just slam a statement down there that presupposes very little, but purposely makes you think about the precept to that comment and lets you lead to your own conclusion. So
I don't see. I know. Technically, everybody does a little bit of philosophy when you're arguing, and it's just intrinsic in what you do. But I think that's a different level of philosophy than these people that sit around going, I know the definitions to what 15,000 different thoughts are, and if you don't know all of these, then you couldn't possibly be right about anything, because we've made all these very strict rules that you have to argue by and you have to go by, and it always seems more to me like people, when they rely on philosophy for this sort of things, it's all about obfuscation, because they're trying to wordplay and word game and leverage their mental argumentative power around you. Because like the stream I was doing last night was about fucking these two Christian guys just sat around telling people how worm your way into people's lives and how you like figure out these little ways to like start throwing Jesus at them. Do you know what I mean?
So,
And then
in my notes to this chapter, I just wanted to curse everything that we're about to say with, I don't believe the Bible came from God. I believe it came from humans, and I believe those humans were scam artists. And I believe that from the way the Bible tells me so. So, I'm going to need you to queue up the if the Bible says 2 + 2 = 5, I won't question it.
I mean, it's all there.
I'll figure out a way because that's going to come up. And then I want every single Christian who joins or ever watches this in the future, or Braxton, if you do follow this, I want you to accept a challenge in peace. And that is, I want you to go to your Bible, open it up to Exodus 20, and I want you to read the 10 Commandments. I want you to read the 10 Commandments. I want you to time yourself on how long it takes you to read about the 10 Commandments. All right. Alexander scored me. It takes like 3 minutes and 35 seconds, if I remember correctly. And then I want you to stop the timer, write down the time that it took you to read Exodus 20. And then I want you to start the timer again and see how long it takes you to read just one subject, not 10, but one subject in Exodus 21.
Oh, come on. Right? Come on now.
And tell me.
Whoa. You're stealing my thunder.
Am I stealing your thunder? Oh, did I?
My thunder a little bit. You carry on. I like this challenge.
Did I just poo all over this?
You did. You poo-pooed all over it.
Oh.
Poop.
So
no,
that is my
carry on. I was just going to use it later, but we can come back to it later.
This is my preface to this show is in friendliness. If you really believe the things that are written in your Bible came from a supernatural being, I refer to as a supernatural being. You may refer to as your creator. I don't believe you. And this is why. There is a moment we're going to come in this chapter in which you have to reconcile that your scam artist writer, however many thousands of years ago, may have figured out how to enslave people, and those people enjoy being slaves. And I think Exodus 20 and the argument that Braxton is going to bring forth, and then the juxtaposition of Exodus 21 gives a microscope to that argument.
Very much so. And yes, I had planned on doing something like that myself.
You did? Okay.
Because I know exactly what bit you're on about, and I'm like, my first thought was, well, what about Exodus? Well, it wasn't what about Exodus 21. It was about what about the bit with the slaves? Because I didn't remember the chapter number, and then I looked it up because it's always okay to look up things, except for when they come from like the Daily Wire.
Yes. So apparently, Zach and I are birds of a feather on this subject matter.
Well, hey, we're not co-hosts for no reason.
We're no reason co-hosts.
Right. So we've read the title.
Right. Good luck. Good luck to us all. God bless us, everyone. All right. When the Gentiles.
Wait. I'm sorry. I've only just noticed. This has already gotten far too complicated for B.S. Lewis. So we need to slow down. We need to dumb down our language. And we need to chill the fuck out because BS is already 3 miles behind us going, hey, I'm over here.
Yes.
Sorry, carry on.
This is a quote from Romans 2:14 and 15. When the Gentiles who do not have the law do instinctively the things of the law, these, not having the law, are a law to themselves, in that they show the work of the law written in the hearts, their conscience bearing witness.
Do you know what? Jimmy? You know
I
how
know
you
it's in
brought.
every book and every library in all the world. Words.
Do you know what? Because you brought up Exodus 21 so early, I was going to come back to this because of Exodus 21, and we could talk about it now a little bit, just a little bit. So, what a Christian such as one Braxton Cunter might like try and talk their way out of it. You're not that late. So we've only been going for about 20 minutes. We've barely started, baby. Don't worry about it. We've read the title, and that is about it.
That's it. We've jick-jacked around long enough, huh? But, introduction.
So the thing is, right, so this bit was talking about Exodus 21. We were just talking about Exodus 21. Christians like Braxton Cunter might try and like worm their way out of it by going, we don't have to, Jesus fulfilled the law. We don't have to fulfill all of it, right? We don't have to do all the things. But the thing is right here, this Romans quote that he's talking about is inferring, it doesn't mean the law, it means the law of Leviticus and shit like that. You know what I mean? He's not talking about like God's law in the way that Christians talk about it now in objective morality. Paul is talking about the fucking Pentateuch and the laws that contained within that were given from God to Moses. So if he's going to put that up there front and center, then he can't hide away from things in Exodus, and he can't hide away from things in Leviticus that are really bad, because he's saying that Paul says that us people might do it by accident. You and me might just waltz into a country with genocidal intent, and we might just go, that's a very hot woman right there, and then we could take her for ourselves. We can remove her hair, we can remove all of her nails, and then we could leave her in a room for a month to mourn and weep, and then we can have a way with her, as long as we don't sell her. And that's Bible morality, and Romans 2 says that we have to follow it. So, introduction.
That doesn't... I don't feel like that's on my heart ever.
Neither do I, but you never know. You have a few drinks, you're out with the lads, one thing leads to another, you steal a traffic cone, you climb on top of a thing, and the next thing you know, you're genociding a country. It happens all the time.
Yeah. If I had to guess what's on my heart, by my educational kindergarten classroom etiquette, I'm pretty sure Elmer's glue with milk and Oreo chaser was on my heart.
God wrote it. It was meant to happen.
And I didn't know what Elmer's glue was, for the better part of age before age 4 years old.
And it's got a cow on it and everything.
Does have a cow on it, as a matter of fact. And we'd get yelled at all the time. Don't eat the glue. Stop eating the glue.
So what I always got yelled at is I'd put all the glue all over my arm, and then I'd rub it all over my arm, and then I'd let it dry, and then you peel it off.
Peel it off.
Oh yes.
like you had a bad sunburn. I remember doing that to my palm, but I don't remember doing that in kindergarten. I remember that doing like in third grade art class, maybe.
In my school, everyone did that from kindergarten till about grade 5.
Wow.
It was the 90s, man. It was different.
It was the 90s. Yeah. This would have been it would have been the 70s for me, so.
Damn.
Third grade was so long ago. Alexander Scorby was still alive.
Yep.
All right. Introduction. Shockingly, one of the most intrinsically compelling arguments for God's.
Yeah, it means his God.
Yeah.
Because it's got the little hyphen. It doesn't mean plural gods. It means his.
God's existence.
I know in the beginning it could be any god, but now it's definitely his gods. You see, language is important.
Is also one of that is often discounted by believers and non-believers alike.
Damn.
The moral argument.
Sorry, I just have to. This little bit needs a little cut, right?
Uh-huh.
Because right now he's saying, "Hey, this is a really good argument, right? This is a really good fucking argument," and this is and so many people, believers and unbelievers alike, discount it, right, and don't think it's a good argument. Go on. Just read the
The
next
moral
sentence.
argument has undeniably captured the attention of many skeptics and lifted them out of the intellectual doubts and settled
What?
them onto a firm theistic foundations.
But the sentence literally before this, he's like, so it's just discounted all the time. And now he's like, yeah, but, and then for the rest of this chat, for the rest of this, he just goes, oh, this is a really good argument. What do you want about? It's so useful in convincing people and taking people away. I know literally the first sentence of the introduction says that they just discount it all the time, but it's super effective. I know they discount it because of its effectiveness. What? Is it just me? Those two things seem completely incompatible with each other.
There is a negative polarity to this magnet. Yet some have considered it to be an elaborate case of question begging.
What? No.
So he's gone back and forth.
He's never thought that ever about this argument.
He's TikToking like one of those piano tune rhythm. What are those piano rhythm or thingies?
Oh, a metronome.
Thank you. I would have never thought of it. What cannot be denied is it's useful in the convincing skeptics of the truth of Christian theism.
See? So, when he says it's often discounted, well, what is you can't, it's discounted, but what cannot be denied is it's very useful. They discount it, but it cannot be denied that it's useful. And the truth of Christian theism. Christian theism. Now, me, little old me, and I say little as a 6'3" man weighing approximately 350 pounds. I thought that these core arguments weren't about Christian theism. Because I was certain that that's what he said in his introduction, and that's what he got all fucking haughty and pissy about when he got some sand in his vagina when he made a video about. Oh, I say all the time. But right now it's like, no, this is definitely for Christian. Look, it's good for Christian theism, even though I said that isn't that. But hey, he doesn't double talk ever, does he? He doesn't say one thing and then say another and expect you not to notice. But hey, that's just me. Sorry, go on. That's just really annoyed me. I didn't even notice that before when I was reading it, but I've noticed it and it's angered me.
Francis Collins, the head of the Human Genome Project, describes his experience of the argument as follows. Encountering this argument at the age of 26, I was stunned by its logic. Here hiding in my own heart, as familiar as anything in daily experience, but now emerging for the first time is a clarifying principle. The moral law shone its bright light into the childish recesses of my atheism and demanded me serious consideration of its origin. Was this God looking back at me?
See, it's, Francis Collins worked on the Human Genome Project and he found it convincing. Why don't you? He's really clever. You agree with him. He works with the DNAs, right? So it's like
he works with the DNAs.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a badge with that job.
Yeah. I just think, I'm sick of people holding up people like Francis Collins and going, look at this man talking about arguments, right? And it's like, yeah, but I don't care about Francis Collins talking about arguments. I don't care that he's head of the Genome Project. He's still spewing the same bullshit arguments that all these Christians have been spewing, right? So just because he says it doesn't make it smarter. Do you know when I listen to Francis Collins, when he talks about DNA and he shows me the things that he's done and he produces the evidence of the studies, that is when I listen to him. It's weird that. But, I'm just a stupid atheist that listens to science and not arguments. But hey, what do I know?
Oh my goodness. A friend of mine just sent me screenshots of a AI bot trying to drum up business. Oh my goodness.
Very much an appeal to authority and fallacy in action. That's why I had to explain when and why I'll listen to him in certain places. Because when you're talking about scientists, you don't have to listen to everything they say. Do you know what? I'm not going to listen to a person who works about DNA talk about like psychological morality. It's not his field. That's the Christian field of specialty, where if you have a PhD in anything, it means you're authorized to talk about anything instead of, hey, I'm a fucking, I'm a evolutionary biologist specializing in DNA. So I'll talk about evolutionary biology and maybe branch out into other bits of biology and maybe bits of chemistry, and that's about it. Instead of, hey, do you know what? I there was some like something like, do you get what I mean? Like, this moral psychological stuff. I'll talk about that instead. I hate it when Christians do this shit.
I see you've got some comments coming up here. Why don't you read?
Yeah, fair enough. I'll go
you
now.
get the next couple.
Most famously, C.S. Lewis articulated the argument in his classic Mere Christianity. I know he's bringing up C.S. Lewis here, but he's not going to use his argument. He's just name dropping a little bit. Since the second half of the 20th century, atheist philosophers have been arguing against it, and Christian philosophers have been using it. I mean, Christian philosophers have been using the moral argument for fucking centuries. Like, why? People have been using half of these arguments before atheism was really even a thing. And they act like, well, we wouldn't say it. He's like acting like we wouldn't say it if we weren't like having a go about it. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, what? No, that's not how this works. You have arguments, and then we point and laugh at them because they're wrong. Though it does not rely on the scientific sophistication of, because order was a really scientifically, he's not a sciencey guy, right? And we should be happy that he's not a sciencey guy. So when he writes a book and starts pontificating about cyclic universes and fucking, good on him for mentioning the cyclic universe in the book. Weird how he doesn't say it on anything else, but at least he said it in the book. He's talking about all these other quantum facets, but he's not a sciencey guy. So, So his scientific sophistication of must be impeccable because, he's not a sciencey guy, and he just read a couple things that seemed to agree with him, and he ran with it. Nor the epic grandeur of the cosmological argument. What is the grandeur of the cosmological argument? If something exists, it has the beginning, and a beginning needs a beginner person, a creator, or a first mover, whatever. Grandeur! It's the same three stupid sense bullshit structure. Grandeur. Like, I know that people like to flex the vernacular because they think they're dead special because they're writing a book. And two, beefing up their own religion. But come on, when I hear the grandeur of a 3-sentence structure, that's like when I hear Muslims go, well, that one line in that one surah has 111 or 141, whatever, rhetorical devices, and it's the most beautiful thing ever. It can only be by God. But this, is born out of reflection of the human experience and what experience demonstrates about the nature of reality. So, what he is saying is this is purely experiential, and since it's experiential, I don't know. It's almost like you can mold people's experiences afterwards, and we know how to do it pretty solidly. I'm like, it means that everything in this argument is built out of nothing but how you feel. It's your feelings. That's what do you know what? There was a clip I was looking for and I couldn't think of what it is, and that's what it is. It's what's it called? Fucking, do you remember Third Rock from the Sun in the 90s?
Yes. I see it on shorts every once in a while, but I never really watched it.
Oh, I love Third Rock from the Sun. It's one of the best sitcoms ever made. John Lithgow's fucking amazing in that.
Yeah.
It's just remember one bit. It's just him going, but I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm getting feelings, and that's all this is. Does it tickle your feelings a little bit? Does the idea make you sad? Well, if it makes you sad, then it's bad, and I'm going to manipulate you by saying my argument because you think what we're talking about is very sad.
Brilliant.
in
I
this
can
chapter,
picture it now.
yeah, well, that's the point, is that you gotta paint these pictures of how bad everything is, and how how the bad things happen, and you go, see, it feels bad, right? No one could ever say that that's okay. It's not emotional manipulation in the slightest. So, in this chapter, beg your pardon. Um, in this chapter, our discussion will focus on the proper articulation of a moral argument, because there's so many moral arguments, because there is a bunch of moral arguments, and they all have they have different wording, because they're all trying to make all different points, and like all Christians, they pretend that all these things are one thing, like they pretend all four gospels are one gospel. So don't worry about it. I know there's two stories of creation and two stories of the flood and two stories of Moses, but they're all the same. And we have four stories of Jesus, but they're all the same. Don't worry about it, bro. So we have all these different moral arguments, but don't worry about it. They're all the same. Don't worry about it. So the R stands for rules, because of the existence of moral values and duties. Duty. You said
Duty.
duty. Poop, poop. Result in rules. You see, rules. It's italicized this time. It's a very you gotta be quiet with it. The duties and rules of mankind. We will examine objections to this argument, as well as consider how this argument might be best explained to and defended by the layman. Ultimately, readers will find an argument for God's existence which is immediately accessible to them and hard and difficult to dismiss. And I made a little line, you see, where it goes back to the very first thing, where it says, shockingly, one of the most intrinsically compelling arguments for God's existence is also the one that is also the one that is often discounted by believers and unbelievers alike. You see, it's difficult to dismiss, but they often do.
Often by both believer and non-believer alike.
Yeah, because the believer itself doesn't realize how fucking stupid. Some of the believers themselves, believe how stupid it is, and go, do you know what? I'm not gonna believe that.
You're pointing out the hypocrisy of his own argument.
I'm just here to agree with him, so I'm sorry if I did that. I don't want to put that across that way. Please email me again. So sorry. Whatever. Carry on. Do you want to do the argument? Do you want me to do the argument?
Sure. If at present, William Lane Craig's moral argument is the most repeated and defended formal articulation of the case. He states his moral argument thusly: if God does not exist, objective moral values and duties do not exist.
Duties.
Objective moral values and duties.
Duties.
Duties do exist.
Say duties do.
Duties do. Poop, fart, 12-year-old humor coming up, folks. Stay tuned. Therefore, God exists. A syllogism for the ages, baby.
I'm low barbell in action. Wow. Well, Braxton said that's the only jokes we do, so I decided, duties get said a lot. So,
yeah.
So the first thing I do want to say is I like how he's using William Lane Craig's argument, because, as he mentioned earlier in the chapter, well, people will just say it's a bit fucking circular because it's a bit fucking circular. Look, values exist because God exists, and God exists so those values exist. Don't worry about it. It's not a fallacy. It's just a proper good argument for God. So good that I chose him as one of the four. So we have to use William Lane Craig's. So they try and do it the other way around. Well, see, if it's the opposite, it's not circular. It's not circular if we say it the opposite way around. And it's like, you do realize we knew this argument beforehand, So yes, it's still circular because we know what you're trying to get around, and it doesn't get around it.
Yeah, I have yet to find God writing anything for him to write his own objective moral values.
Whoa! He wrote his love on your heart.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't help
Yes. Along with Elmer's glue and Oreos, Oreos and milk.
Yeah, but Jimmy, no, just.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
Listen to that uplifting music. Does God not make you feel uplifted? Like the morals from God should make you feel.
It makes me feel like I need another beer. This one got empty.
It happens.
It happens.
I let my brew go cold.
Oh no. For the truth.
Yeah, go on.
For the truth of the argument to sink in, thinkers need to be aware of what is meant by objective and subjective moral values and duties. Duties. If something is objectively true, it means that it is true no matter what anyone thinks about it. In other words, it is not a matter of opinion. Mathematics are the objective way, are objective in this way. 2 + 2 = 4. If it were the case that everyone on the planet...
The problem with this statement is that math is definitional. 2 + 2 doesn't necessarily mean 4. And it's not just because it's definitional. It's like the fact that 2 is a human concept. And the idea of 2 was created, something like roughly 5,000 to 10,000 years ago. So before then, there wasn't actually any place for there to be 2 + 2 = 4. Not just because we didn't have the words for it, but they didn't have the concept of numbers. And even our concept of 2 as it is now is a Muslim number, not like so.
Correct.
And plus,
yes, we had 4, but 4 was right here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So we still had 4, or we had 2. We didn't have a name for it like we know it now. We had this knuckle as 1, we had this knuckle as 2, we had this knuckle as 4, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's my understanding, anyway, is the evolution of how we counted out things. That's why there's 12 tribes of Israel, because you can point to 12 on your finger, these 4 fingers, with this thumb, this opposing thumb. That's my understanding of the precursor to what we used as numbers. Well, also, in mathematics, let's put a finer tune on this. Yeah. If this is talking about money, the best reason to have these mathematics show up in money is because I want to know what $2 gets me. Otherwise, if I go and to use the colloquial reference that I used about if the Bible says 2 + 2 = 5, I will find a way to reconcile it. Well, there is a way to reconcile it. 2.5 + 2.5 = 5, for instance. And there might be a colloquial term that's different than what we understand for the number 2, and 2 might represent 2.5 as a reference. But if I go to the market and I want to buy 1, and he says, I tell you what, it's $3 for 1, but I'll sell you 2 for 5, then the price is both $3 and $5 for 2. $3 for 1, $5 for 2, instead of $6 for 2. So the objective and the subjective is on display there for 2 + 2 = 5. Well, yes, 2 + 2 does equal 5 in that sense.
If somewhere within the Bible I were to find a passage that said 2 + 2 = 5, I wouldn't question what I'm reading in the Bible. I would believe it, accept it as true, and then do my best to work it out and to understand it.
See, the thing is, right? So there's another thing here. So yes, the way that we see numbers now, 2 plus 2 is 4. But the problem with math, and he's trying to make out like math is like this big solid base that like is immovable and doesn't change. But the problem is there is different ways to work out the same equation. And yes, they don't work at lower numbers like 2 plus 2 equals 4, but they certainly do in longer form, like, thousands, millions, billions, and so on. Like, there is different ways to work out the multiplication and the addition of these things, and they do produce different numbers. Math isn't as solid as people thinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here's the thing. If I tell you one costs you 3 and 2 costs you 5, and you negotiate me down to 4 for 2, then all 3 examples are correct. Never, ever is it objective. Now, if I'm taking a test in which I need to get the answer right, then there is an objective answer. Unless it's theoretical math, and then every answer is accurate.
And that's why I find like the next bit interesting.
Oh, we've got a red one coming up? Oh my.
Whoa, but that's a surprise. And you're going to love the surprise.
No.
So you wait.
Oh my goodness. Show's over. Good night, folks.
No, I'm showing it on screen. We just got to get there first.
We're going to leave it on as a cliffhanger.
The thing is, so the next bit is interesting. I find this interesting because this book was written before MAGA, right? If it were the case that everyone on the planet disagreed with this claim, it would still be the case that 2 plus 2 equals 4. This is an objective truth. This comes from a man who supports Donald J. Trump. Right? So, this is from a person that is part of a group of people that thinks, actually, yes, you can change the truth just by believing it to be so. There are a whole group of people obsessed with, filling the rivers of information with the rivers of shit. You know what I mean? That it's all alternative facts, right? They make up shit all the time, but it's objective truth here and here and here. But the rest of it, well, do you know what? I can make up whatever I want to, right? And I've got here, was it what Matthew something? I clicked off my thing. No, that's not the right one anyway. What have I got? What have I got Matthew up for? Oh, never mind. I think it's So, conversely, subjectivity deals with matters that are relative, whether or not chocolate ice cream tastes the best, or if bald men are the most attractive kinds of men, are very subjective questions.
Mm-hmm.
I have a wee surprise for our little Jimmy Tux here.
Oh boy!
Oh, his significant other gave me a picture of him in a state of undress around the time they were married, and I got one from Miss Braxton Cunter's wife, wife as well. And I thought we could compare bald men and have a little show. Yeah. So his wow, some good shit right there, Jim. You know what? You were a fit young boy, weren't you?
Yeah, you know what? When I was playing hockey and I was a goaltender, I did look somewhat similar to that, in all honesty.
I told you, your significant other sent it over and said,
that's hilarious.
Little Jimmy.
Yeah.
And then of course, we'll get to the next bit. I should have queued up music, but I didn't. But it's one Braxton Hunter.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Right here. Look at him right there. He's on show. He's proud. He's fine. He's not having the best body in the world, and he likes to spread his stuff. He likes to show you how it's done. And you know what? After seeing these pictures, I'm convinced bald men are the most attractive. And I, after this stream, will go and immediately cut off all of my luscious locks of hair. Because look at the gorgeousness of these photos. Can you deny it? Look at it. I can't
Wow.
whistle at the moment. I tried. I failed. But you know.
Yeah.
Some good shit.
I'm trying to figure out where I got that scar from.
I think you got it from when God reached into that perfect body and pulled out you.
Well done, Zach.
On those chiseled abs! Washboard abs!
That is brilliant.
Well, you know, when someone gets in contact with me and they tell me, you know, hey, I'd like a little surprise for him, and you know, I thought, fuck it, you know, I'd bring a little bit of joy into people's lives. That's what we do as entertainers, right?
That is beyond expectation right there. Oh my.
That's what just going with spur of the moment thinking does. You have a random thought and you go, fuck everything else, I'm going with this right now.
And is it shameable to admit that actually Braxton's body started to get me a little hot?
Oh, it's a little, you know what? Get a little
is it okay to be a man crushing on our newfound friend?
Oh, I had a perfect clip for that, but I don't have it lined up.
Oh no, I don't know. You hitting the blasphemy button last week cracked me up. That was perfect timing.
I just press buttons. The rest is up to God.
The rest is up to God. Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom.
Wow.
Yeah. See? That's where the magic happens.
I was never that
right, that's where the magic happens. Sorry, we're talking about Dream. That's where the magic happens. That's where the magic that was Bonds in the wrong tune. Oh well, there we go.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Sorry,
that's brilliant.
I'll carry on. I'll carry on while you're all hot and bothered under the collar. Right. I'll let you calm down, sir. There's no need for that rowdiness.
Have mercy, Lord.
Oh, Lord, child. One has given me the vapors. Sorry. The answers will depend on one's personal opinions, one's personal opinions, or the consensus of society. And I think the consensus is in, folks. Bald is back. Bald is in. Bald is beautiful, baby. The answer examples are prevalent of the chaos that can ensue when one mistakenly categorizes something as subjective, which is actually objective. I mean, I don't know. Do you think anything can actually be objective in the universe?
I don't think so. Like, even Earth and the sun it's objective to us, but it is not going to be. It probably wasn't the same however many years ago, and it won't be the same however many years into the future.
Yeah.
But to me, right now, that's probably as close as I can get to objective in this world, in this realm.
Yeah. See, the thing is, as well, I think the universe is objective. I mean, sort of.
Sort of.
I kind of question what the universe actually is, because I think people are just putting a label on stuff that they don't understand.
Yeah.
And I don't think the universe is anywhere near what we think it is. But that's the thing. I think so much of this they're all wishy-washy and they say they don't think that anything can be. It's because we can look at like how science has grown and gone, well, once upon a time they thought phlogiston was a thing. And we got a giraffe.
This is Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe. She pooped the universe into existence with this poop hole back here under her tail.
Wow.
You didn't know this? This is...
No, I didn't know this.
Yes.
I didn't know. I'm sorry, but where's my thing?
This is how we know from from the Skeptic YouTuber, the Skeptic, the British
Yeah.
floating circle. That's how he explains the universe coming into existence, and I believe him.
Oh, well, once I queue up the thing that's supposed to be queued up, it isn't. Damn it. Where the fuck is it gone?
If I were to read in the Bible that 2 plus 2 equals 5, I would not question it. I would figure out a way to reconcile it.
I can't find my Attenborough thing.
Oh.
It's supposed to be on there, and I don't get why it's not.
But to see that we were created by something just by breathing has a really nice telltale on it. But honestly, the way everything swirls in the universe, the galaxies swirl, it kind of looks like each galaxy is a nice little flush from a space toilet.
Fighting words, Mr. B.S. Lewis. There's fighting words. You saw when I was shouting at Mr. Beverly for saying such things. I'll shout at you, sir. I'll shout at you. I think I've queued up the thing. Did I load it up? See, because we know that the universe was made by the father of one Sir Lord David Attenborough, because he has come to show us the beauty of the world around us. His father, the one that does reside above in secret, is the one that rules above all. And those that believe in Sir David Attenborough shall rise when he dies and resurrects in beauty, glorious light.
Wow.
See?
David Attenborough.
Yeah. So, a tenism for the win. That would have been
David,
funnier 20 seconds earlier.
Tiny Tim will say someday, David Attenborough bless us everyone.
And, he would be correct, because he does, in fact, bless us all, as we should bless all the animals.
Wow. Oh. There's no need for a moment of Zen today, folks. Already had it.
Fills the light to all the corners of darkness. And he fills them with episodes of life, and the trials of life, and the trials of mammals, and the trials of birds, and the trials of plants. The list goes on, because my God has documentaries that he produced himself, because he actually exists.
Mm-hmm.
So, nah.
I see you've got some more highlighting here. Wow.
Relativism is fine.
You were busy.
This misstep. I had a hard time saying relativism before. Cognitive relativists hold that all truth is relative. What is meant by this is that truth is subjective. For example, not only is subjective statement to say the chocolate ice cream is the best flavor, but the cognitive realist would also claim the existence of the planet Earth is also subjective. That is to say, he would have to hold, if he is going to be consistent in his cognitive realism, that whether the Earth exists is a matter of opinion. This extends to all truth. Situational realists, I keep on saying realists instead of relativists, claim that the truth depends on the circumstances, because, it does. Come on. That's literally the whole point of the trolley problem. These people, they go on about, oh no, you can't have any degrees of what truth of moral subjectivity can be, because, well, God made all the morals correct. I know we ignore all the morals in the Bible that God gave us, but fuck them, right? Sorry, I got distracted by the universe being the menstrual discharge of a goddess in her time of the month. Have you seen the moon? Right, that's the wrong thing. Smells like a straw. What? No. From a Christian? Never. This guy is on the same side as people that believe vaccines are fucking, radio transmitters, and that or whatever, or that fucking, it's population control, or that fucking the moon isn't real, or that the world is flat. people make up their own truths all the time, and they're very convinced by it because people put a lot of time and effort in fucking with people's minds to detract them from what the truth actually is. So it's all fine and dandy when a Christian wants to fucking pop off his chest and go, truth is truth, and mine's the only truth because mine's the truth that hasn't changed for fucking 2,000 years. And it's like, except Christianity is nothing like it used to be 2,000 fucking years ago. You're not even following the fucking rules of the Bible that you follow. And when you get challenged on why you don't like the rules and bits of the earlier bits of the Bible, you go, I don't have to. It doesn't matter. Because these people don't give a flying fuck, right? They don't give a flying fuck about the morals of anything. There's only, like, I need my clip. Where's my clip?
They're always talking about what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? They don't want to know so they can do it. They just want to know so they can tell other people to do it.
They don't give a shit. All they care about is lording over you in some way and finding some way that they can fucking make you live in a way that makes them feel safe in their own homes while you're nowhere near them, right? If your love life, your whatever, how you feel inside, all these different things, that does not affect them in the slightest, except for you might pass them in the street one day, and these insecure fucks are trying to go, no, you all have to live to my things, and I know we don't fucking pay attention to any of these motherfucking things, but, hey, mine's the objective, truthful morality. Now let's talk about slavery in the Bible. Well, no, that's just the rules for the time and the place, right? It's just the rules for the time and the place. And objective morality means forever, right? And he's fucking going, oh, this fucking, relative, these cognitive relativists, they just pick and choose. And these fucking Christians pick and choose all the fucking time. They pick and choose what fucking denomination they are. They pick and choose which version of Jesus they're going to follow. They pick and choose which fucking preacher they're going to listen to. They pick and choose every single little bit of their morals and then pretend like because they decided through the fucking prisons of their fucking intellect, they decided that which bit of the book they're supposed to worship as the true and inerrant word of God is, wrong, and they don't have to care about it because it's of the times. But it's not absolute morality. Sorry, but it's absolute morality. But it's of the times.
Ladies and gentlemen, those euphemisms were brought to you by the Non-Christian Coalition to swear.
Poop, poop.
I have just been informed that I need to walk the dog right now. Because if I don't walk the dog, all hell and damnation is coming for me.
Right.
So I'm in that window right there.
Do you want to call it a day then?
So I am going to depart early. I know I said I was going to go to about a half past the hour, but I'm in a window where one storm has passed and another storm is coming, and the dog has eaten, and this is my chance. So, and then I got to start cooking dinner at 4:30. So 4:30 Chicago time. Chicago.
Well, I guess
I had absolute blast. It's a shame that I have to cut this one short, but
yeah. Well, hey. I might start a new stream and watch something else.
How close are we to that core moment? Should we pick up at that core moment the next time?
Well, I'll do to the core moment, and then we can pick up the.
Yeah, let's do the core moment, and then we'll pick up from there.
Moral relativists hold that an absolute or objective truths do exist, but moral values and duties, are not objective in this way. One can see how relativism is dangerous territory precisely because it categorizes certain things as subjective, which should be considered objective. Yeah, like biological fucking science, and what the things that we find through rigorous testing and the things that actually fucking work. No, we have to cast doubt onto everything because hey. But we'll skip past that. It is for this reason that Peter Kreeft warns that no culture in history has ever embraced moral relativism and survived. Our own culture, therefore, will either one, be the first and disprove history's clearest lesson, or two, persist in relativism or die, or three, repent of its relativism and live. Core moment. What it might help think of these objective things as factual and subjective things as matter of opinion. All right.
Wow.
Cool stuff. So before we end, I just want to mention that no culture in history has ever embraced moral to relativism and survived. No culture has ever survived.
That's true.
So
There is a beginning and an end.
What does
Several
moral
chapters
relativism
sometimes.
come into it for? Like, culture changes all the fucking time. America now isn't America in 1776. Britain now isn't Britain in the 1800s. We ain't Edwardians. We ain't Victorians. You know, like, there was the different people thought different things at different times and treated things differently. But the culture, it's culture. The culture never changes. Do you know there's one culture that doesn't change, really? A little bit. There is one. Do you know what that is?
Yogurt?
No. It's an actual people. Really big people.
Eskimos?
China.
China? What'd they do?
Changed very little in its 3,000 to 4,000 years of existence. When you look at Chinese artifacts from very early Qin Dynasty China, and like even before, a little bit before then, you would be almost indistinguishable from Chinese things now.
I did not know
China's
that.
like go with the flow and keep things steady. Taoism and Taoism and all that has kept them the same. So I won't keep you anymore.
Okay. I'm gonna go walk the dog and
have fun. Enjoy the weather.
Yes.
Don't have the weather break anything. Use your immaculate washboard abs to protect everything.
Yeah, I have not had those nice abs since late 2006.
Now, what are you on about? You go walk your dog. You got the great abs.
Yeah, I got something down here. It's covered in beer, as far as I can tell. So, all right. Cheers, all. Bowtie bless. We'll do more next week. I'll make up for it next week. So, we'll try to do the rest of the lesson next week.
All
right.
In the business, yo. I mean, China's changed a bit, but like China is still kind of China. Sorry. There we go. You're off the screen. Yeah, China's still kind of China. And my point is you look at old Chinese artifacts, it still looks like Chinese things now. It just does. China only changed in the 50s because of Mao, but it still kept a lot of its, because we're talking about its culture, not its, like, you know, its culture is very similar, and that's kind of the point. I don't know. If I started another stream to watch something else, would people be interested? Because I'm only an hour in, and I kind of felt like I was just getting more gusto going. So I might start another stream if people are interested, because there's no point adding shit onto the end of this. I don't know. What should I watch? What should I do? If I stay on, what should I do? Yeah, foot binding is gone. Very true. Wow.
Lies, lies, and more lies, and lies on top of lies.
See? I clicked off the wrong thing. I clicked off the wrong internet browser because I'm clever like that. I do clever things. No, Candice Owens said both space is both fake and gay. Right. If you got the give me the address and I'll fucking I'll download it and then I can watch it on another stream. I'll just start another one. Just put it in the chat. I'll just copy it. Whatever. It doesn't have to hyperlink. Don't know. She said that space is fake and gay. All right. I mean, space is a little gay. You see, it twinkles. And gay men twinkle. And they sparkle. I've seen Elton John. They're all like that, right? That's what you do. You lump everybody together, right? Right. Candace Owens. Because like, if I search for this, it's just going to be all videos of people making fun of it, isn't it? Instead of like, space is gay. Is it on Tim Pool's channel? So is it the Tim Pool one? Well, you know, Candace always had to get a grift on somewhere because, you know, what was that stupid website she tried to do back when she was, I'm all left wing, and she tried to make was it Bully Hunters or something like that? She tried to make a website where she was going to like dox people or some shit. I'm just going to start a new stream. So, oh right, originated on her. All right. I mean, it's an hour and a half. I don't know if I want to talk. Is there any? Do you know if there's a clip of it anywhere? Because like, I don't want to watch it for a fucking hour and a half. Because, damn, is this bitch stupid? Right. I'm just going to start a new stream, and then I'll figure out something so this stream doesn't go on forever. So, nah,